One of the biggest dis-ease that I see for young people today is they don't know who they are, and they're so worried about what people think they are. And this energy is just a suck in their future. It diminishes the great light that God has given them. Welcome to Office Hours. I'm David Meltzer, and I have a Hall of Fame co-host group here with me today, Andrea, Wing, and Chad. But I've been blessed around all the Hall of Famers. I had a business partner that's a Hall of Famer. I currently have another business partner that's a Hall of Famer. And there's something special about Hall of Famers, right? Even within the Hall of Fame, there's like a Hall of Fame of Hall of Famers. And it's funny how there's just different levels of an elevated awareness or frequency. Well, one of the tops of all Hall of Fames, of all Hall of Famers, is one of my business partners who I learn from every single day. Sometimes he doesn't know I'm watching. Other times I'm just asking him a ton of questions. And his name is Marshall Faulk. He's a Hall of Fame running back. But more important, he's a Hall of Famer off the field. Welcome to Office Hours, Marshall Faulk.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. So I've been blessed to watch you, not just on the field. I've watched you since you were a freshman at San Diego State when my friend was the center of that team. And I was at the game, sometimes on the sideline, wondering how the heck is this guy so good on the field, and continue to watch you and was there when you were inducted in the Hall of Fame and beyond. But the one thing I admire most about you is one thing to be one of the, if not greatest running backs in the NFL history, which can be argued till we're dead. But I've never met someone who was so sure of himself at a young age. One of the biggest dis-ease that I see for young people today is they don't know who they are, and they're so worried about what people think they are. And this energy is just a suck in their future. It diminishes the great light that God has given them. And I got to watch you as a freshman at San Diego State and beyond. And whether it was at the Heisman ceremony when you didn't get what you want, or your MVP of the Super Bowl and you did get what you want, or the NFL Player of the Year, or in business when you did and didn't get what you want, Marshall Faulk, for some reason, God has blessed him to know who he is. At what age did you to say to yourself, I don't care what other people laughing at me, scoffing at me, telling I can't play running back, whatever it is in your life, that business is going to fail. When was it that you said, you know what, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to prove at least who I am, not worry about what other people think I am?
You know, it's weird that you asked that question, and I was literally asked this question a couple of weeks ago, and I've been thinking about like when, like, because you look for the time. It's like, when did this happen? But then my second oldest brother just had his 63rd birthday, so we're sitting around and we're talking about mom. And one of the things that she would always do is she would ask you, like, angry, who are you? Who do you think you are? And you had to tell her who you are. You know, it was like, well, I'm Marshall Faulk. And you had to tell her who, and if you said it like weak and timid, and she would say, that's why the world is going to eat you up.
Wow.
And her thing was, know who you are, know what you want, and make adjustments trying to get there.
Wow.
And
Wisdom.
so we were talking about this, and this came up, and I was like, man, that's where it is. I could not put a finger on where it came from. And the power of what parents can speak into kids, good and bad.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And we got to know that as parents, sometimes our fears, the things that we say, I don't want you to do this because of, I don't like, you're speaking fear into your kid because they can go out and change the world.
Yeah.
If you tell them the right things. And sometimes we're so protective that we literally build some little kids that's coddled, and then we wonder when it's time for them to grow up and they're 25, why they're not leaving the house, or why they still asking for allowance.
Why haven't they graduated?
Well, right, like, hey, it's time for you to get off my health insurance. Why? Like, because they said so.
Or my cell phone bill.
Yeah, on a cell phone bill. But it literally, based on my brothers and what my mother used to do to us, it was my mom made sure that when I walked into the real world, hey, this is who I am. And she would say, listen, your behavior and your actions, they are who you are. They speak to people about you. So make sure how you act and how you behave is how they're going to treat you and see you.
I could not agree with you more. I am so feel your mama, and I feel like I just got a gold star as a parent because literally my daughter was just, let's just say, on the wrong track. And I'm not yelling at her. I'm not punishing her either. I sat her down and I said, who are you? I literally used it, and I asked her to really think about who are you, what matters to you, and what do you want people to know about you based on your actions? And, my job is to keep you safe, make you someone who can take care of yourself and be relied upon. That's what I see my job in life being. You have to decide who you are. And I mean, that's incredible. And look at how that's resonated for you. So I feel good about my parenting.
And you
Thank
should.
Marshall
That's the
Faulk.
toughest job in the world.
It's tough. I'm really excited to talk to you about this because you've transitioned yourself, I know, in the Renew Me Foundation into a organization into men's health. And
Yes.
boy, does this nation need a lot of help. And my specialty is simultaneous physical and mental well-being because they go together, and I do this for busy professionals. How is your organization reaching out, and what do you find to be the key to getting people to help themselves? Is it more they find their way in through exercise and then everything comes in, or is it mindset, mental well-being? What's your way in to get people to show
all
up?
of the above. Successful men, they build really good businesses and they're financially healthy, but then internally they're not taking care of the body. We're not sleeping enough. We're not doing it. We're not doing the right thing. We're not exercising enough. We're not taking the proper vitamins. We're not going to the doctor enough, making sure that we're going to be around and enjoy the money that we've built.
Right.
And so I really try to focus on people whom have built wealth, the people that's trying to build wealth, the entrepreneurs that's out there, they're burning the candle at both ends. Like, I got to do it. I'm going to sleep when I'm dead. Well, you'll be dead soon.
So good night.
Just trust me. Like that,
Right.
what you're building is going to be more of a legacy. Like, you're not going to get to enjoy it. But if you do, we have methods and ways to help you to make sure that you don't cheat yourself out of enjoying what you've built. And a lot of people, they put so much into building, constructing, doing, and they forget that we can replace a lot of things, but I have not seen a life replaced. This body that we get, this vessel that we get to live in, you only get one.
Yeah.
You may get to add stuff to it or take stuff away, but they haven't came out with the Ozempic of you get to live another life.
Right.
Yeah, so true.
100%.
So we try to talk to, and we target a lot of men, although there are successful women that do the same thing. But men, I remember growing up, my mom knew all my doctor's appointments, and then I got married. My wife knew all my doctor's appointments, and my girlfriend knew all my doctor's appointments. And I'm like, I keep everything else in my calendar. Why can't I keep my damn doctor's appointments in my own calendar? Is my health not that important? Now, it may be more important to them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Depends on your life insurance.
Exactly right.
Maybe.
I mean, Chad even keeps his barber appointments himself, but not his doctor.
I'm just saying, but it's a thing for us as men. We don't take care of ourselves enough, and the ones that do, are you taking care of yourself for you? Or it's because, I want to be around to walk my daughter down the aisle, or I want to be. It's not just I want to be healthy just because I want to be healthy and I want to feel good.
100%.
Beautiful.
Well, as a fellow
As
San Diego State alum, there aren't that many guys. I am good friends with Todd Ladd, your former teammate as well.
Yes.
So it's a very small world that we finally, after all these years, get to sit here face to face. But in the sense of giving back, right? What do you empower? Like, how do you motivate these people to actually go to the gym, like do something, not only the exercise part, the mental, but about the eating. I mean, all of them kind of come together. So how do you do it?
Yeah. Inspiration is one thing, but education is the most important. And educating them and giving them the information. What really helped me was when I got out of the game and I was banged up, and I was like, okay, I'm not taking meds. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to lift any weights. I got to let my body heal.
Yep.
So I took about a year and a half to 2 years off. I gained about 15 to 20 pounds, and I was like, all right, but I feel good.
Yeah.
Now I could start working out and doing the things because my body has finally healed. It took me 2 years to heal from the last game I played.
Wow.
And I got stuff fixed, got my knee fixed, got my elbow fixed. Just things were bothering me.
Yeah.
To where I could lay down in the bed and have nothing hurt.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I understood that, the time that it takes for you to then take care of yourself, you have to give yourself that time. Nobody else cares. Nobody else cares. So in doing that, self-care is the best care, and it starts with you. And encouraging men to get the information and the education around that. When I sit down with you and I say, my doctor looked at me, I was borderline hypertension. It was like these things. He was like, as a black man, 50, 55 maybe.
Ooh.
Wow.
And you're
Average
30
age of the Hall of Famer is 58, by the way.
I was like, what?
58.
What? So,
What?
all right, cool.
Game on.
Got to change some things.
Yeah.
Got to do some things better.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do it, I'm a person that if I'm talking about something, it's because I've done it. Like I don't get behind things that I'm not doing. I'm not just selling goods and products. Like if I don't have it, I ain't talking about it.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not pushing it. I might inquire or I might have a conversation, but I'm not pushing it. So I got behind this. Dropped about 25 pounds, got myself in shape, stopped lifting weights, started doing bands and just start doing bands and cords and stuff like that. Start riding the Peloton, like really getting into like what physical activity do I want to do? And just that little conversation with my doctor about my timeline and where I was headed, that information was enough for me. And I think guys need to know that. Like, go to the doctor, let the doctor tell you, like, hey, if you keep living this life, you keep eating the burritos.
You need healthy wahoos, though. Healthy
Not
wahoo.
the tacos.
the fish
The,
tacos.
the burritos.
Fish tacos is different.
Yeah,
Totally.
fish tacos
Different
very
thing.
different.
You know what I'm saying? You stick with
Sorry,
the carne
Robert-
asada.
sorry,
and the
Robertos.
carnitas.
Yeah.
That's, hey, man, like literally, you going to bust a vessel.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's men. Here's what we do. That damn check engine light come on, and we won't go get checked on.
Yeah.
In the car, when that check engine light come on, it's telling you
Yeah.
to take the car in, and we get that check engine light, and we get the warning, and we just kind of like, I'll go,
It'll be all right.
I'll go,
Yeah.
and then all of a
Go.
sudden the car stops.
Yep.
And the question is, when that car stops, can they get you back running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
It's what's crazy is how you introduced him. I've got to spend a lot of time around you over the last year, and it's amazing to me because you talked about self-confidence and everything your mother taught you, but there's not a hint of ego. There's not a hint of arrogance. And so it's a real dichotomy. When you're a Hall of Fame running back, when you're a 7-time Pro Bowl, when you're NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, the accolades, your trophy room has to be as big as most people's houses.
Right.
But yet, when you walk into a room, you walk in like God sent you, but you portray the most humble, approachable, likable energy of any Hall of Famer. I've been around a lot of Hall of Famers. I've never been around somebody that has energy like that. How did you learn how to balance the two? Self-love, belief, confidence without ego.
I didn't learn it. This is it. Like this is, I don't know if you can. You either have humility or you don't.
Yeah.
Or some things slap you in the face and knock you down and humble you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you have that? Did
and
you have a slap
I love
you in
that.
the face?
You're either humble or you're about to be. That's what that was my saying.
You hang around him, and you're the one who introduced me to him. And would you agree that there's
No doubt. I've been around him since his freshman year. I knew his friends in college very well, and sometimes I was taken off because he was so humble and so quiet. I'm sitting there going, "Why is he sitting by himself? Should I go? I'm a little bit afraid. Should I go over and just see if there's anything I can do for him?" And I think that's how we became friends. Is I'm one of the few people that recognize he was just humble, not arrogant, which is why he was by himself, not trying to wear gold everywhere and walk in and Dion the whole room. It was. And I went over and I was all like, "Hey," and Marshall and I would sit at really crowded, loud parties in the corner and have these deep life conversations about another passion of his too, financial literacy, which is something he has taught me, and part of our passion, along with men's health. Part of that's financial well-being is too. And Marshall has literally helped millions of people, especially young people, get a grip on financial literacy and education so that they can portray that in their own lives. But go back to the humility
but
conversation.
did you have was there a moment that you flirted with that line between
always
and
always.
how or who brought you back? I have a
not
feeling I have an answer of who brought you back, because it sounds like your mother probably yanked your ass back.
always.
But do you have that moment? Because I think I think you're right. Either you're humble or not. But I think the challenge is most people put so much identity into the medals, and they lose themselves in what it took to achieve the medals.
Always. And here's what I'm gonna tell you. It's your family that keeps you grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And this funny story, all right? I'm 21. I literally just won MVP of the Pro Bowl. I go home to New Orleans. I just bought my mother a house. And I'm getting ready to go out. I just bought her this house. I furnished the whole house. Here's what she says to me. "Don't come in my house after midnight. I'm going to be asleep. You're not waking me up." I'm like, "That's not even your house."
That's awesome.
All right.
What time do you get home?
And I stayed in the hotel. I stayed in the hotel. I'm in New Orleans. I'm like, I stayed in the hotel. But here's the best part. The next day, when I came to the house, guess what she did?
Where were you last night?
No. Hey, can you go to the grocery store for me and get me? I'm like, I pay people to get my groceries. What are you doing? Sending me to the store.
Yes, Mom.
So
Yeah.
Did you go to the store?
MVP of the Pro Bowl.
MVP of the
I'm at
Pro Bowl.
Winn-Dixie.
So good.
I'm at Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, you were.
So good.
Getting a loaf of bread and stuff. But those are the things, those are the types of things and the people in your life that keep you humble.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can remember my second year after, winning MVP of the Pro Bowl, and I'm like, I'm rookie of the year, and I did something on TV, and she called me like, "Who do you think you are?" Like, what are you talking about? She's like, "You're representing this family." I'm like, "Mom, it was just a play. Like, what? If you ever like, I'm like, you can't whip me."
Well, she could.
Why did
I'm a grown man.
She could. Let's be
I'm a
honest.
grown
I'm a
man.
grown man. Like, I'm taking care of you.
so
And this is
good.
how you're talking to me?
So good.
But the reality is it's those people, like, you got to have those people in your life
Yeah.
in the times when you're doing things to remind you
Who you are.
Who you are, yeah.
of who you are. Like, hey, your feet are on the ground here. You could be in the air somewhere else. But when your feet are firmly planted on the ground and we're looking eye to eye.
Yep.
Can I ask you a
So good.
question? Just, it's so interesting. In my career, I've been in fitness 32 years, and the first 16 years of my career, I did everything everybody thinks they need to do to be fit. I gained about 28 pounds. Like, it went wrong. It went sideways. And the reason I have credibility is because of that failure, white knuckling in and calorie counting and and my way is so kind and it is so gentle to yourself, and it works for people. But it was based on that failure. And that's why I have enormous credibility with the executives that I help. Do you find that because here you are, Pro Bowl athlete, like I know who you are. I'm a champion fantasy football player, by the way. But like, you know, do you find that you have credibility with these executives and these people you work with to help them take better care of themselves? Because even you ended up on a downhill trajectory. I mean, I know I do. And can you talk about that?
Yeah, you know, it's one thing when you're successful and you're riding the high, telling people what to do, because they look at you like you don't know what it's like to eat a cupcake. You know, it's
Right.
like. But then when you can show them a picture, you know, when you're looking like a walrus by the face, and you're like, look, I had an extra 20-25 on me. I know what it feels like. I know you're walking around and your hips hurt, your knees hurt, your feet hurt. Like, I get it. I understand. Here's what you can do. It gives you some credibility. People need to know that you sat in a seat that they're sitting in right now, sometimes to listen to you. And they don't want to listen to the fitness guru. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never been here.
Yeah. Easy for you to say is the one I get a lot. You
Yep.
know, and then you have to be vulnerable.
Right.
I'm going to share a story before we end about last night. So after my son made me aware that Marshall Faulk was being honored on the field, they played a video about his career with the Rams. And it was the night that John Robinson had passed, who's a legendary coach of USC and Los Angeles and St. Louis Rams. And it was really interesting because everyone in the suite's like, text Marshall. Tell him that you're proud of. Text him, congratulations. Text him. And my son, who knows Marshall really well, he's like, yeah. They're like, he won't even respond. And Miles like, yeah, he will. And which Miles usually is questioning his father's credibility, but he wasn't questioning my credibility. He was confirming what he, as a 14-year-old, has seen of Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
And so I text him, hey, brother, congratulations. And I think I sent a picture of what he looked like on the super billion-dollar screen at SoFi. And within 5 minutes, he's on the field. The humbleness of somebody saying congratulations, just simply put, I really appreciate you. Right? I've been around a lot of guys who aren't Hall of Famers being honored on the field that don't just take the time to acknowledge appreciation between friends, business partners, associates, et cetera. But it was the biggest lesson for those 14-year-olds in my suite, that the humility of the most honored person in 65,000 people, right, the number one, had the time just to say basically, thank you, I appreciate you. And Marshall, I just want to say publicly, as always, I appreciate you and all the people that you impact, including me. I learn lessons every day being your friend and business partner. I always see the best in you, and I see you bring the best out of other people as well. To me, that's what a Hall of Famer is all about. He's my MVP, number 28 in your playbook, number 1 in my heart, the incredible Marshall Faulk. Thank you for joining us on Office Hours.